My name is Lisa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I go live on Facebook and YouTube every Monday and Thursday at 2:30. And another thing I did this week was changed where my camera is. So just all sorts of changes going on. But this is the card we're making. They call it an accordion fold, in that it kind of goes in an accordion style. But the wonderful part is it's kind of a fun fold, but it fits into a regular A2 envelope. So like I said, I did make a tutorial with all the written directions for all 6 cards. It is available in my store already. If you were to pop over to my blog and browse written tutorials, it is for sale, with all the pictures and directions and measurements and links to everything that you need to make them already available. I'm kind of got my act together a little bit. We're going to start out with a piece of cardstock. This one is cut in half, but we didn't score in half. We cut in half, so this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 2 3/4, 4 1/4, 6 3/4, and then 8 1/4. This way? Yeah, that way. Sorry, 2 1/2. Oh gosh, yeah, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, 6 3/4, 8 1/4. Sorry, I had it wrong ways. It looks like it's the same, but it's not. So I want to pay attention to that because one side is bigger than the other. It's like the larger side's going to go on top. So this one's a little bit larger than this, only by 1/4 inch. That's why I couldn't tell. But we have some designer series paper that is going to go on here, as well as some vanilla cardstock. The vanilla cardstock are both of these are 4 by 4. The one on the bottom is 2 1/4 by 4. So it's going to fit right down there. And if you'll notice, these are going to hang over just a little bit. And that's okay. So when we glue them on, we want to make sure that the adhesive is only under that top part. I'm giving it a little extra adhesive because this one moves. You have heard me say that before, that when cards are interactive, you either want to use a stronger adhesive or just a little bit more of it because it's just getting movement. To go inside of this, I wanted a tiny border. So this one is going to be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. If the eighths bother you, you can do 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. It's still going to look good. It'll just have a wider border. And usually with the wider border, I'll use liquid glue, but I'm out of sorts today. So we're using seal, and look there, it worked. Okay, on the middle one, I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper, and I'm only going to put it on the bottom portion. So I'm just making sure that my border is even on 3 sides. That's going to go on here. And then I have trees. Now these trees are cut out of those dies that I was talking about. These dies are a limited release. They are only available during the month of September and while supplies last. So here is our bundle. You can still save the 10% if you do not own the dies yet. You can order them together and save 10%, or here is if you already have the stamp set and just want the dies. I also want to point out that the trees we're using, they have a little bit of extra something to them, kind of like our, was it hydrangea that lifted like this? But it has little portions that are half cut out or partially cut out that allows you to lift them and give it a little bit of 3D. Now mine are going to go in the middle, so once the card closes, we're going to lose all of our 3D, but the option is there. So let's see. Let's get you into the camera somehow. There we go. I don't know if you can kind of see, but anyway, they lift. But there are two. This is the smaller one, and then there's this larger one. I want to point out that this larger one does not cut the outside shape. See how this cut outside of the thing and it has the inside? This die only does the inside, but you can place it inside of this one, and then the center of this will pop out. That makes sense? And then, of course, there's all these little stars and ornaments, and there's a little basket you can put it in, or a pot. There's this great label, just lots of extra little fun things that you can do. One of our cards today, I stamped the bow, and it's going to die cut out with this. There's smaller bows that you could just straight die cut. I did some of those in a gold. They looked really super cute on a tree. Of course, these dies lay on top of these ones, so you can die cut a solid piece and then put the detail over the top. Or what I did was I did these with adhesive sheet on the back and then put them onto regular cardstock, and I fussy cut them. I don't know why. I just did. But I'm going to take these 3 trees and I'm going to put them in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to start out kind of just arranging how I want them. I think before I had these 2 high and this one low. If they were on the front of the card, I might pop them on dimensionals, but because they're inside, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do them flat. Oops. Has anybody started their Christmas cards yet? I know nobody even wanted to talk about it until the kids went back to school, but around here they've started. At least that's what they tell me. I don't have any little kids, but they say fall is coming. At least Starbucks says so. They came out with their pumpkin spice latte, so they're ready to rock and roll fall. Do you hear they're charging more money for it? As if Starbucks didn't charge enough already. The new season, they're going to have the pumpkin spice lattes cost more. Like everything else. Okay, so I'm just adhering this to the second part, or the third part, actually. It's the second flat one. If I can center this right. A little bit of a glare. I can't see my score line. Okay. So there's that one. And then we're going to have this piece down here. And then I'm going to mount this on here flat. This is part of the die set. I thought this was really cute that it layers, but they're different shapes that coordinate. So I'm going to use mini dimensionals because this is kind of small. Oh, good. Somebody's got 30 done already. Wow. Yeah, it's hard to get in the mood for Christmas cards when it's hot outside, huh? We're under a heat advisory right now. It's supposed to be 103 tomorrow and Wednesday. Just stupid hot. But at least it's not humid. When we were in New Orleans, it was very humid. I mean, you couldn't walk outside without sweating. It was awful. My husband goes, I don't mind sweating. You know, it's fine. I'm like, okay, well, how do you feel about your women sweating? And then he got a different look on his face. It was kind of funny. So here we go. I'm going to use my bow maker tool to create the bow. And we start out making kind of I call it a cancer ribbon. And then I'm going to feed this below and pull it up over the top. And then we're just going to make a knot. Now, because I want my bow to go straight across and the tails to go straight, I'm going to pull straight. If I wanted tails, I would pull down. But because I want it straight, I'm going to pull straight. And that'll make the tails go to the sides so that I can wrap it around. Now, I could have, probably should have, wrapped it underneath so it was between the Evening Evergreen and the Very Vanilla, but I didn't. So I'm going to come back here, and it already has a glue dot because I had it glue dotted to my roll so it didn't unravel in the drawer. Go ahead and make sure that's good and attached. And then I'm going to wrap this over, and then I'm going to glue dot it again. So let's see if my snips will cut. Okay, those cut because I didn't cut very smooth. One of the things I always recommend is that you have a separate set of scissors that you use on your ribbon than what you use on your paper. For some reason, they dull the blades differently. I don't know why, but they do. Remember how Mom always said, don't use her sewing scissors? Now I know the reason for it. And there we go. There is our accordion fold card. So that is card number 1. And I have a second card because I knew that was going to go quick. We're not even 15 minutes in and we're already done. So I'm going to bring in pieces for card number 2. This one, again, uses this special set of dies. And I'm using the Lights Aglow Designer Series paper. Have you guys seen this stuff yet? Got a bunch of it because I ordered 2 packs. I just thought it was gorgeous. I love bokeh dots, and so it does have those, and it has them in at least 3 colors. It was the red, green, Evening Evergreen, and Cherry Cobbler. So there are 3 of those. And then a lot of it has kind of a gold accent to it. So see, these are kind of a gold foil. On the back is gold foil. But it's really pretty. So if one side is, I'm going to say muted, not dull, but one side has foil, the other side doesn't. But it looks like every piece has foil. Look at that. Is that awesome or what? It looks like lightning to me. If it was on navy blue, I'd be even happier. And it's also made these little frames. And this frame is something I'm going to use on another card in there, in our bundle. In the tutorial, I made an uneven gatefold card. And this one has that circle right here. And I just die cut it with our layering circle dies. But lots of fun stuff there. Okay, back to our card. Here is my sample. And then I brought in the cardstock. I've got my base that is the cut in half, fold in half, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then this piece here is 5.5 by 2 3/4. And then I used that die to cut the tree out of the middle 3 times. Okay. Now what I did on this one is I used this piece of Designer Series paper. And the bottom half, it lined up exactly where everything had gold. This has some little sections where there is no gold. So I'm not sure I like this as well because it looks like there's blank sections. So I could either cut another piece of this, or I brought in the Very Vanilla. That looks pretty too. So what do you think? Should we be doing that one or the other? Or we can even come in with some even different yet. Here I've got some Cherry Cobbler. Those kind of get lost. Let's see. Oh, black. Kind of. Lots of fun options. Okay, so we'll go with vanilla. Somebody said do this one. Okay, so I like that. Very pretty, very elegant looking, I think. Now what I want to do is I want to adhere this to my cherry cobbler, but I don't want the glue in the middle. And since I don't know where it would be if I was adding the glue to my designer series paper, I'm going to add the glue around my trees on here. And then I'm just going to go up to the edges. So I don't need a lot of glue, but I want to strategically place it. It does kind of look like a flocked Christmas tree, huh? Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. So see, no glue popped out of our holes. We're good there. There's a little bit extra, but I'm not too worried because I'm going to cover that up with gold. Now, for here, it looks like I could have used a piece of gold that was 5.5 by, say, 3 inches, but I didn't because that would be a waste of foil, right? We want to use our paper smart. So what I did is I just cut little, I think these are 1/2 inch or maybe 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 inch strips. And then I'm just going to put that right along the bottom and then trim off the excess. Another thing you could do when you are using a big piece that's just going, you're only going to see the edges, is maybe die cut some other pieces out of it. Like, you know, take some Christmas trees or ornaments or bows or something and cut them all out of the middle. And then when you cover it up, nobody's going to know, but you got the most use for your cardstock. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this on here. I know it's hanging over the edges. I'm fine with that because I'd rather have it too long than too short. Because I can always come in and trim off excess. And then I know it fits perfectly. And I'm going to want to cut off on the side where I've got the definition between the two colors. I can cut from the back, but I have no guide for the other color. Whereas from here, I have a guide. So use the contrast to your advantage. Okay, then I used the bows that I rubber stamped and then die cut. And I'm going to attach those with either a mini dimensional or a glue dot. These are handy. Let's use these. I'm so glad you liked the vanilla. I did too. The black, I don't know, it's rich looking, but it didn't feel very Christmassy. I feel like the black we ought to use for something for Halloween. Not that I'm a Halloween person, but oh, maybe New Year's. Black would be good for New Year's. Okay, so there's our 3 bows. Now we're ready to adhere it to the card front. But let's do our stamping because I actually made a goof. When I did this card, my sentiment was not straight. So I'm going to have to cover that up somehow. But I was able to flip it inside out and start over. So always stamp before adhering things together. I'm going to use Evening Evergreen ink. And I have my Happy Holidays. I laid it out on my grid paper, and then I set my block down on top of it. And if I align my words to the grid paper and then the block to the grid paper, it gives us our best chance at lining up evenly. this part in the middle here, this is great for finding the center of things because you can count over how far things are. So we would know that the center of this is 2 3/4. It's great for measuring out your cardstock, measuring out your ribbon. The grid paper is good for all sorts of stuff, and it is available in the catalog. Not everybody knows that. It's not real super obvious that it's in there. I mean, it is when you're looking for it, but if you don't know you're looking for it, it does kind of get buried. But I do recommend it to everyone. Okay, so there's the front of our card. And now I'm going to do the inside. So, it looks like this is a little long. So again, with my difference right here, I can trim that off. I'll do that off camera, but ouch. Okay. Let's do some more stamping. Okay, I'm going to bring in the rubber stamps this time. These are photopolymer, so they are clear. They're clear because they're a 2-step stamping, which means that we're going to stamp one and then we're going to stamp the other over it. And so you can go either direction. You can start with the detail and then the solid, or you can do the solid and then the detail. I really haven't found that much difference. You just kind of have to figure out where these pieces are going to interact with these pieces. If you look in here, see how this one kind of sets in there? So you just kind of want to watch as to where they're going to hit. And that one's not lined up perfectly, but you're getting my idea. I'm going to start out with the solid and soft succulent because I want a 2-tone green. Now, I do have 2 greens that are similar, so that works well for me. If you don't have 2 greens and you still want the 2-tone look, you can definitely ink up the solid and then stamp it off, like stamp it on scrap paper somewhere, and then come back and, and stamp on your project. Oh, I got that one good, didn't I? Okay. Quick adjustment. We're going to put an inside layer. I poked myself with the scissors. Did not intend to do that. Okay. Here we go. So there is our outside tree. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to line it up. So that's why this is clear, because we want to be able to see that those are going to hit in the proper spot. Now, best bet is to look straight down from the top. And the best bet is to use the evening evergreen, which is what I should have done. Stabbing myself with scissors threw me off, didn't it? Okay, so solid piece, 1 green. This is why it wasn't adhered. Remember? I'm always saying that. Stamp and then adhere. Might have to flip it over for a boo-boo. Okay. There, that looks a little better. There's more definition now. But like I said, if you wanted to do the same green, what you would do is for the solid one, you would stamp off and then you would stamp again and see how that's lighter. And then you would take this one and go over, and then it would do your second color. And that works with any color. If you're doing flowers or trees or whatever, stamping off, it allows you to have one stamp pad and kind of get 2 colors. Okay. And then the final step is the sentiment in the middle. I'm going to do that in Cherry Cobbler. And then there we go. There is the inside of our card. So that is the 2 cards that we did today. You can tell I didn't use my bone folder. So I'm going to come back in and do that. Then the card will lay flat. And then here is our accordion fold. So that was card number 2. And then I do have what I'm going to be working on Thursday. Is anybody ready to see what Thursday's live is going to be about? Again, it's going to be using this Trimming the Tree bundle, and we're going to do another fun fold. I love fun folds, especially when they're easy. And this one's easy. This is kind of a flip and fold, and so it interlocks. So I punched it, and then I punched in another color, and then I made it fit inside, and it closes this way. So that's what we're going to be working on Thursday. And if you look, this time I used the stamp with Versamark and some gold embossing powder, and it is heat embossed. That gives it a very rich look too. So this will be our card on Thursday. And should we do 2 again? Do you like it when we do 2 cards? Because I have another one. We can do this one, which is kind of an easel card. This one stands up on its own. I have this gatefold one I showed you. We could do this one, or we could do a very simple card and do this one. This one involves more gold, and these rhinestones here, you can see that they're red. Those are our basic rhinestone jewels. They were originally clear, and then I colored them with our Stampin' blends in order to get them in red. So if you love all of these cards, then you want the tutorial. Yes, 2 cards. Good. Okay, which one? I'm going to do the flip and fold for sure, but is there another one that you like? I'm just kind of hanging out to see what you guys like. And then I'm working on next week's cards, which are going to use Waterfall Canyon. And I'm kind of sorry I'm using it and happy I'm using it all at the same time because I'm having issues with it. It's not being as friendly as I thought it should be. And that's probably a good thing because I will figure out all the little bugs and then I will let you guys know how to fix it so that they go a little bit easier. Okay, the last one. Okay, I've got kind of a tie. Somebody said the easel. Somebody said the last one, which I'm thinking was with the rhinestones. And then someone said the gatefold. So I don't know. I want to do what you guys want. But if you're interested, you can get all 6 of them by getting the tutorial. Okay, so I'm ready for Prize Patrol. Have you all entered hashtag Prize Patrol so that you can get entered into our drawing? You want to put in hashtag Prize Patrol. That gets you into the drawing. I'm going to pick somebody who's going to get today's card in the mail. You can have either. Most people want the fun fold, but I will send you either one. good. There's another prize patrol. Good thing I'm stalling, huh? And we're up to 8. I have 18 watching, but only 8 entries. So we got a lot of people out of the country because I can do anybody in states. And I do want to invite you to please hop on over to my store and you can order from there. I really appreciate those of you who order from me. It totally helps me out. I am working towards goals. I try not to share that with you a lot because they're my goals, but you guys supporting me helps me with that. And I want to find some way to thank you guys for supporting me and doing something I absolutely love to do. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and share that screen. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel and see who our winner is. Jeanne is today's winner. So congratulations. I think you've won before. I might have your address, but if I don't, when you win Prize Patrol, I ask that you go over to my website and you have to have this direct link. Go to queenbeecreations.net and then type in hashtag Prize Patrol or the /Prize Patrol and enter in the form to claim your prize. So thank you for joining me, and I appreciate you being here, and we will come back on Thursday to make this adorable flip and fold card and one more. Thanks. Bye.